Hello, this is Michael Gross, and you're watching What's Neat with Ken Patterson.
Too loud, way too loud. Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
That's much better.
Excellent.
Last minute check there.
Is there copyright infringement on that?
I don't know yet. May not be
I know.
able to, yeah.
I wish we had our sound engineer. Scotty, I know you're listening. Thank you, Scotty, for setting up the soundboard. So far, it's been really great. Where's my microphone at?
It's hooked up.
Oh my God. Okay, this is the blooper reel.
This is a typical night here at the Patterson basement.
Show 207?
At 207.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah. That's just
Life
like
is
we've got
so
to-
good.
2023, because we took so long to
Yes,
tape it.
yeah, that's it. You know what I mean?
Life is so
All right,
good.
here we go, gentlemen.
Oh, we're going to do a show.
Ready?
Okay.
I am absolutely ready to do
Put
show
on them smiles.
207.
3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. And by GL Robotics. With over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock, your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com. Further support is provided by K&R Models. We dare to build. Check out their website at knrmodels.net. And by InterMountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week's show in model railroading, show number 207 for September 3rd, 2022. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of that What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And the September video is done, and that will be coming out on the 15th of this month. And also the October video is completed, and that is the NMRA show with 10 great interviews that we got at that show. A lot of great material. Now, what we're going to do this month on this show is we're going to talk about a lot of the new products that are coming into our industry. And this is something that we've done in the past, but this month we're going to focus on it because there's a lot of new announcements right now that we've got, and I'm so proud to bring them to you first. Starting with, and I'm going to do that, I want to say I've got Steve Mantia on this end here. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
It's nice to have you here tonight.
It's nice to be here.
Absolutely
Always
great.
nice.
Always to have you. And my favorite sugar fire, Joshua Barton.
What's up, everybody?
is-
I'm his only sugar fire, too. Just
Who is
so-
opening up a brand new sugar fire that will be open tentatively in November,
That's right.
and it's only going to be about 4 miles from my home. So all the special guests that we have here, like we've had in the past, you will be treated at Sugar Fire.
And we have a banquet hall there. I'm going to be able to stuff about 125 people in our room. It's got these giant 8x11 old barn doors that are going to open. Oh, I'm super excited. Can't
Plus-
Very nice. Huh?
Plus, the new restaurant will have a train theme to
wait.
it.
There will be some train themes in there. So
Isn't it
Good.
exciting?
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, guys. All right, I want to start out the show, and we're going to talk about a lot of new products. But first, I want to talk about some photographs that I saw on Facebook this week. We all have been following the construction of the new Merchants bridge. That's a new bridge. The old one was built in the early 1900s crossing the Mississippi River, whereas the Terminal Railroad Association generally hauls freight back and forth from all the hump yards on the east side to bring the stuff over to the west side of the river. As you well know, St. Louis was always called the Gateway. It's no accident in that the fact is a lot of railroads converged in Illinois. That's where the largest switch yards are, the conglomerate of them. A lot of them are already gone, but there's so many. The A&S yard and the terminal are two large hump yards with all the freight from the East Coast merges and then has to cross the bottleneck of the Mississippi River through St. Louis on two different bridges. The Merchants Bridge is a north bridge, and I think it's called the MacArthur Bridge is a heavy-duty bridge that we've got that's right next to the arch. But the Merchants Bridge has been going through changes. They've been taking out the old riveted bridge sections, similar to the old Central Valley bridges that we're so used to that they build, and they're replacing it with welded steel arches and types of structures. So I've got some photographs I want to share with you because I thought it was absolutely fascinating to see all the tugboats lined up as they took the final riveted bridge down, parked it on top of these tugboats, and then were able to haul it off so they could haul it to the side of the river and cut it up as scrap. I will show you a photograph of the brand new welded bridge. This is the third span and final span that's being put into place. And what's even further interesting about this is the fact that traffic did not get delayed. As they did this, they did it in just a few hours, and then they had traffic running across the bridge right away. What an interesting situation that you could model on your layout. As we all love the river bridges that we put on our layout, we've got our spans, whether it's the Central Valley 200-foot span, which I really like across my river, or that beautiful brass bridge that was built. And how interesting it would be to actually show one of the spans being replaced on your layout. Furthermore, you've got 3 or 4 tugboats, you've got barges, you've got the lift system, all that infrastructure you could build next to your final span of bridge where traffic's always running across. That would make a great, interesting scene. And imagine how amazing it would look lit up at night as they set up the stuff at 3 or 4 in the morning to do the sunrise and then the final movement in the afternoon, and then have the railroad running again that evening. I think it would be a great, interesting segment that you could actually build on your layout, and that's why I wanted to show this on the show. So, Joshua.
It's very cool. I've watched the progress of the bridge going up, and it's neat how they pull the new span to bridge right up there, and then they just push it right out into the water, and next thing you know, it's up and in there. So
Totally agree. I want to say that Denny Yelsma, I wore your windbreaker last night, as Holly takes me now out to football games every Friday to watch her sons play football. Aiden, you're absolutely amazing. Rock and roll, number 23. But the fact is, I wore this jacket in the pouring rain, and I was dry. I didn't wear the What's Neat one this time. I wore the CSX jacket for the very first time, and I was very impressed at the fact that it does repel water like it's supposed to. So hats off to you, Denny, for picking the Port Authority clothing that you did for your line of clothing. I was dry, and yes, I offered it to Holly 3 times, and she wouldn't take it. She's a real trooper, as she was as wet as a mouse, but she cheered on that team like nobody else. So hats off to all of that. It was kind of fun to watch.
I bet.
So go ahead, Joshua. You got some stuff you want to talk about tonight.
Well, so I'm working a little bit on the layout. First time, last time I posted anything on my website, it was April 2nd. So I haven't really done anything all summer. I've been, hanging out with you guys and doing NMRA stuff and RPM stuff, and just haven't really been able to focus on the layout. So this last week, I poured the last layer of resin on my epoxy bar top.
Okay.
And so now I'm getting ready to pull the sides off of that and pop that out of its form, and then design the rest of the bar to hold that, because I thought it'd be 150 pounds. Mm-hmm. But I used 11 gallons.
11 gallons of resin?
Of resin. It has 25 pounds of river rock in it. I have 4 really nice logs in there, 2 cherry and 2 oak. And those are probably 40 or 50 pounds too. So it's 8 pounds per gallon of epoxy. So I'm well over 200
How thick is that now?
It's about that thick.
And how much does that weigh?
I don't know.
lot.
I'm thinking 350.
Is that going to lift out? Or is it permanent?
It's going to be, well, I'm designing it to where when I decide to move the layout, it all can be broken down. I'm using carriage bolts. I'm going to drill some holes through it and carriage bolt it into the bar itself so it can be sturdy and you can put weight on it. But yeah, I'm designing everything. The whole layout will be able to be taken out of the basement at one point in time and go to a different place.
Oh, that's very good.
You know, I plan on building a building here in the next few years that's going to house a lot more than just that layout. So,
Now, you were showing off your Sugar Fire restaurant at the RPM meet, and that's the
was.
new kit that you've come out with that's available on the internet. Is that right?
not quite yet. We're hoping the end of October, November-ish. I'm still waiting on some supply chain issues.
Okay.
I don't want to build a box for it. I want to try and stay kind of a little eco-friendly. So I have these disposable bags that I'll be able to make, and so everything will be in a bag, and then I'll have a paper recycled top for it that'll have the name and everything like that. So I'm just kind of waiting on that stuff. It's on super mega double back order. So as soon as it comes off the boat to China, then I'll have it and we can start getting things rolling. But the business itself, Barton Miniatures is...
Barton Miniatures.
Barton Miniatures. BartonMiniatures.com, all one word. If you don't type it like that specifically, then you'll go somewhere else.
You need to call Spring Creek and have them stock your product because
Yeah.
they like to stock those 3D printed upstart companies' new products.
And by the way, I was out in Marion, Illinois yesterday with Mike Buddy. We went on a little jaunt.
Field trip.
We went to Chuck's Depot down there, and we love Chuck. We try and go to there once a month at least. And I was in the display case, and boom, there's some CNC Railroad Illinois Central caboose kits there, and I thought of Campbell Rice. So I was very cool to see
Nice.
a fellow modeler stuff in the store. So I'm hoping I'd love to sell them to a bunch of different places. Spring Creek. I'm going to have them in a few of our sugar fires for sale as well, and I've already talked to Joseph Blivens, who is helping me with the 3D manufacturing, and we're going to hopefully get some different scale stuff here.
Nice.
I don't know if that's possible, but people have asked for it in O scale already, and S scale, and Z scale. So I don't know how far we can go with that, but it's exciting, and we've already talked about our next model that'll be coming out in spring. So
I'm looking around because I'm going to talk about some new products coming out, and one of them, and I had the brochure here to actually look at, but I don't need it. I have it memorized,
Yeah.
and we looked at it.
we did.
Announcements from Bachmann Industries. Every time they do an NMRA show every year, they come out with a brochure that's got generally 12 to 15 new product announcements that will come out through the next 12 calendar months from the time of the show. And one of the things that I found very impressive, and I'm probably going to videotape or scan this so you can see it, is the brand new Acela streamlined consist that they're coming out with. As I recall, this comes DCC ready and possibly DC with sound. I wish I had the brochure so I know exactly what I'm talking about. But the fact is, it's such a good looking model, it doesn't matter. Imagine the fact that we've got over 50 years now of Amtrak modeling that we can do. You got to figure back in 1973, a lot of people, as I recall, when my father was showing me the demographics and the maps back when I was in third grade of the new railroad called Amtrak that they were forming out of the conglomerates of various railroads where the government stepped in and said, look, we're going to make railroading, passenger railroading work again because it started to become not profitable with the airlines being able to fly you around so quick. Who wants to ride on a 40-hour trip from Chicago to California when you can do it in 3 hours?
Right.
And so the railroads suffered greatly because of that, and that's where the government stepped in, created Amtrak back in 1973. And the fact is, back then it was almost like a bad word. Oh my God, Amtrak, who's going to model that? I want to model the beautiful streamlined Santa Fe Super Chief or the Union Pacific City of Los Angeles or just whatever. But the fact is now, with 50 years under our belt, I have seriously considered myself modeling nothing but Amtrak consists. The turbo train, all the various early Amtrak trains that were able to be done with the heavyweight cars and lash up of various locomotives, whereas you've seen some Amtrak F units actually painted with the pointless arrow, but yet in the BN consists, for example, you'd have a couple green locomotives mixed in. How exciting that was back then to be able to do that. But now we've got so many new things. We're up to phase 7 in the paint scheme of things with regards to Amtrak. And you could literally model an entire layout and fill a whole 7 or 8 or 10 track switchyard with nothing but various Amtrak consists representing the consists through the years. And it wouldn't be boring. Look at the beautiful E units that are coming out. Rapido is sharing that beautiful E unit that's in black with a pointless arrow on it. And never mind the beautiful Bachmann locomotives that we've got with these Charger locomotives that are coming out. And now Bachmann announces this new streamlined Acela, plus the older Acela, and the new Roar turbo train that Rapido just announced at the Anna Maria National that we're sharing. There's so much amazing stuff that you could do just with Amtrak. And yes, they had switch engines and other things to shuffle the cars around. You could build an entire layout based just on that, and I don't think you'd be bored.
Very true. And those new Phase 7, the CMS cars,
Yes.
the passenger cars, they are beautiful.
I know.
They are.
I know. We just need that baggage car. Nobody's come out with that baggage car with the, and I probably have a photograph of one, and if I do, and I'm showing it right now, whereas it's got a very, very unique look to it that would be great in today's modeling era of Amtrak.
Jason Schron just got a big light bulb above his head. Ding!
I've seen that happen more than once
I'm ready.
on this show. I can't remember. There was one product we talked about on the show, and in fact, a company came out with it. And which is another product I want to talk about is the new Bachmann Missouri Pacific transfer caboose. Right?
Yes.
What
Thank
a
you
beautiful
very
model
much.
that is.
Yes.
And yes, I do remember what that new product is. I've got one right behind me here. This is another thing that Bachmann has just announced.
Yeah.
They came out with this narrow gauge locomotive that runs on N-scale track, but it is in fact HO scale for real, 187 scale. So in 187 scale, you could have this narrow gauge train running. And I kept saying we could take the face off of it because this was an Thomas line, and we could put a prototype face on it and have a locomotive where you could base a whole nother segment of your HO scale layout, whereas you could have a little narrow gauge section on it running. Even if it's just an amusement park ride, it would still be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Bachmann's also announced at the Anna Maria National that they're coming out with this locomotive with a prototype front on it. So you don't have eyeballs, no nose, no face. It's a real prototype, and they're coming out with 3 variations and paint schemes. So hats off to Bachmann for doing that. Larry, you're awesome. The
And-
transfer caboose is beautiful.
And that's exactly what I did with my layout. I got your narrow gauge, and now I have it on my HO, but it's an excursion train, and that's how I have it. So I have a little depot there where they come onto the excursion, and yeah, it's
That makes sense.
really neat to pull those two together like that.
Some new products that were also announced last week are these brand new InterMountain Santa Fe reefers. I've got 3 variations on the table. I recognize there's 4 different cars, and in fact all 4 are different. It's been raining here for 3 days. I haven't shot them outside, but as I described to you each car, if I'm betting my odds right, you will see outdoor beautiful photographs of each side of each one of these cars. Now if you look at the whatsneat.com index, you will see that we've covered the InterMountain PFE reefers in the past. Did I say PFE? I mean the Santa Fe reefers. PFEs are Union Pacific, Southern Pacific.
Correct.
These are in fact Santa Fe reefers. And we had various types on the show, including the ones that had the fans in them that would circulate air to keep mold from building up in the car, air out the cars, and further distribute the cold air from the ice on the ends of the freight car. These cars are in fact loaded from on top with ice. There was a time that I created this one ice platform using Tichy products where we actually recorded and photographed and created the image of the people loading these freight cars with ice, including the tools that were scratch built out of brass and demembered. We actually cut the figures apart, put their arms and legs back on so their body positions would be correct as per photographs that I saw of this process taking place. And the ice was made out of plexiglass that was sanded down so that it had that crystal ice look, not clear, but that frosty ice look. And these photographs that I just showed you were part of that. Now these cars that I've got tonight are the HO scale Santa Fe reefers. These come with Katy couplers and metal wheels, as all Intermountain freight cars do. These are HO scale. El Capitan is the first car that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to shoot this from both sides. This one has a curved line map on it. This is a Class R27 reefer with reparting marks SFRD, car number 34820. An absolutely beautiful car that's accurate to the prototype photos that I know about. The next one I'm going to show you is the ATSF reefer. This one's the Scout. This is a curved line map car. This is a Class R27 as well, with reporting marks SFRD, car number 34664. And what Santa Fe did was they promoted all of their special passenger trains, the Super Chief, the Scout, the El Capitan, on the side of their reefer cars, because that was further ability to get the names out there to the public. It's one thing to see the passenger car go by, but it's another thing to see a reefer train go by, advertising the fact. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the Santa Fe reefer. This one is the route of the Super Chief. On one side it says ship and travel, Santa Fe all the way. Reporting marks SFRD 32167, and this car does not have a map on it. And what Santa Fe did was, over a period of time, the early freight cars had the curve line map showing where all the passenger trains ran, and then later on they made it a simpler paint scheme by putting on the straight line map, as you've read in so many books in the past. Last one I've got is Santa Fe Reefer, the Chief West, famous daily streamliner. This car has in fact a straight line map, so it's a later era freight car, but they also ran together so you could mix these in the same consist. Reporting marks on this are SFRD 35427. You can find all these at intermountain-railway.com. Check them out on their website. These are absolutely brand new, fresh off the boat, and I'm happy to share them with you tonight. Next week on the show, we're going to talk about some new products from Intermountain, and that will be mechanical reefers. Absolutely beautiful. I think they're 65 foot long, Union Pacific, Southern Pacific. They're absolutely gorgeous. I will shoot those the same time I shoot these. So thank you again, Intermountain, for helping us promote the best hobby in the world. So with that, Steve Mantia, what did you bring tonight?
Well, as usual, brought some more O-scale cars, and it just, as this turned out, I figured we're always having Mike Buddy having automobiles. I thought I'd bring a couple of flat cars that have some automobiles on it in that. And now that I'm in Mike's spot, I just seem to be little cars here with the the '67 Camaros and the 1970 Novas that just something different to bring.
That Nova is so
They just-
reminiscent of my high school years, because that's the car they all had. I've had girlfriends that had those Novas. I think Holly had one of those, in fact.
That's nice.
The Nova, that was a classic.
That's it. So
They ran forever. And these are Lionel, is that correct?
MTH.
Or MTH.
Rail
Very
Train.
nice.
They're very nice at that standpoint, and just something different to bring.
Yeah, those are
Always.
very cool.
Mhm.
I know, right? That's
Reminds
awesome.
me, I mean, my childhood, I had Lionel.
So this Christmas, can we get B-roll of when Glenda sets up the O-scale layout around the tree, and she goes all out for you because she loves you so much.
Well, of course.
I've seen it in years past, but I never brought a video camera into your house because that probably would have been awkward.
Well, no.
Can we do it?
We can do whatever. We can do anything we want. We can maybe do it. We could probably have done it at Halloween, for the Halloween train. We can do it at Christmas. Anytime we can do a little thing to film something.
Did you guys put a Halloween tree up?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've seen that. That's really a neat concept. I
Yes,
mean,
it is fall at our home now. So,
Right, and it has
all the
been
stuff
for a
there.
month, I'm
It
sure.
has been for a little while, but now officially that we can say it's fall in the house with all the pumpkins and the different things that way.
I'll take my coffee without pumpkin spice, please.
That's awesome. You wanted to talk about microengineering
I
ladder
do.
track? Tell me
So-
about that, Joshua.
So I'm starting to build my yard with my turntable, with my roundhouse, with my engine facility. I'm trying to figure out what I can put in to fill the spot and still be prototypical-ish.
Okay.
So that leads me to guess where my track system ladder is going to be. So I was on Microengineering's website the other night on the home page, and I went to the detailed product information, and they had like 5 pages of all the schematics of all the turnouts that you did for their ladder system.
We showed that off on the show
Right.
once, didn't we?
So-
In fact, you looked at that tonight.
I did, and so as I go further down the homepage for them, they have a engineering ladder track system template. And so what I did was I printed all the different turnouts I may need, and these are pretty much to scale, and they tell that on you, but I can take this template and match it up with the ones that I have here to make sure that it's scale. But I can cut these out and lay these right on my layout to configure how this and how the,
Very cool.
how they're all. So I'm looking very forward.
So this
to-
is on their website.
This is on their website, and I
Okay.
printed this off into your computer. By the way, you need more ink.
Okay. Really? Already?
Anytime you use a printer, you always seem to need a
But so I
gotta know
printed
where it
these
goes.
out, so I'm going to cut them out when I get home, and I'm going to lay them on my, and then I can see exactly how many I need to purchase of the B or the C or the E, because there's 6 different or 5 different kinds of turnouts that go on to lay this track system. So I'm really excited that, and this saves me money, because usually I would just go buy a whole handful of different, and lay it out in real life. But now I can have these templates, and these are a really good idea.
I agree.
And they had other templates for a viaduct and a couple other of their products on there. So I suggest before you buy money, or if you're guessing, you should go to their website. It's right on there under detailed product info. Just click on that link and that'll take you right to it. Microengineering.
We are going to have the new owners of Microengineering on the 3rd week of this month. So that'll be show number 209? 7,
yes.
8, 9. 209. It's a father and 3 sons, and I've written down all their names, and I'm able to match the names up to the faces. So I look forward to having you all here in the studio with us on the 3rd week of the month to talk about your new exciting ideas and plans for this company. It always was a family-owned company for over 55 years. The Rands family did a wonderful job, and now the tradition will continue with another family and their sons. I so look forward to seeing what they come out with. I already have a few ideas of what they're going to come out with, and you guys won't be disappointed. This is going to be exciting.
Absolutely.
I want to say that at the NMRA National, I met another company, and this company's only been around since 2018, but I was very interested in seeing what their offerings were. I met Keith Revel, and the name of the company is KR Models Ltd. And he's an amazing individual in that they've already got 9 different projects available to the public right now. And I think, as he mentioned to me, they've got 15 or 18 new products that are in development that we will see very soon. Keith said that this company was born out of his passion for his interest in watching Class 25s and 40s running out in the UK between Warrington and Manchester, England. The fuel and coal trains and the mixed freight's true. He actually has a passion for just that, just like we all develop watching the trains that we see here in North America. But what he's done is he's decided that the models that he's come out with, he wants them to be class number 1, perfect with regards to detail, and that technology is available now with the computer generated programs that we've got, whereas things can be designed very well, as we've seen Stephen Priest share with us with his new products that you're going to see coming up in the October video. With that technology at your fingertips, these models that he's creating are absolutely second to none, and I want to describe a few of them to you because, quite honestly, some of them kind of blow me away. For example, this GT3 locomotive, it looks like a steam locomotive, but in fact it's a turbine. There's a turbine engine in it that, similar to the old coal turbine that Union Pacific experimented with, this thing was perfected. And he's come out with this in 4 different road colors, paint schemes, and he's actually going to send us one of these so I can videotape it and show it to you running. Very impressed with this as I show you photographs of this GT3 locomotive. It's pretty amazing. Another locomotive that they've got that I was I don't know much about the history of this. I just learned it all this week. Thank you very much, Jennifer Kirk, for your help in that. This is a KR Sir Bullied steam locomotive. This is a steam locomotive that looks like a diesel, but in fact it's an articulated locomotive with the main driving wheels of being 3 and 3 in a row. So essentially, here's a prototype photograph of this locomotive running. It's absolutely amazing. And just imagine this locomotive with sound and all the lighting effects on it. I didn't request one of those to be shipped to us, but some further point down the road, I will make that acquisition of this model so I can share it with you as well. The next model that I want to talk about is the Shay that he's coming out with. This is the first model that he's creating for the American market. And the one thing that he did on this model that he's described to me in great detail is he made sure that the powertrain on this thing was perfected before the model was released. So that means that the motor on the side with the 3 pistons, everything's going to work with the gearing and the link and chain and everything that you see up and down the side of this Shay locomotive. So hats off to him for going that extra step to make sure that the models that we finally do receive are going to run perfect on our layout. He's also coming out with log cars to complement the Shay. The next one I want to talk about is this K&R PAL brick wagon. This is simply a freight car that was designed to carry pallets full of bricks as the railroad transported them to various communities that were being built over there in the UK. The next locomotive I'm going to talk about is a K&R Hunslet BO locomotive. This is a center cab switcher that Jennifer is very familiar with, as she described to me. These were very prevalent on the railroads over there. The next one I want to talk about is a Clayton DHP-1 small locomotive. This is also a center cab diesel locomotive that they ran over there in the UK. This beautiful little green steam locomotive that I'm going to show you is the Belly Advert. And I hope I'm saying that correct because quite honestly I don't know the dialogue. And the next locomotive I want to show you is a KR Bullied locomotive. This appears to be almost like similar to a subway car, rapid transport type of a locomotive, or consist of freight cars that are used over there in the UK. If I got any of this wrong, I apologize. We're going to talk about their models for the next 2 weeks on the show as I receive the new models. I want to talk about the Shay, and I definitely want to talk about this KR GT3 that sounds like a jet airplane when it's running, but it's got the wheel configuration of a steam locomotive. How amazing is that to be able to add that to the European modelers here in the States that love to do that, i.e. my father, hey Dad, and a lot of other folks that like these type of models. So look forward to that. Again, K&R Models. You can look up their website at knrmodels.net. You won't be disappointed. So check it out, folks, and tell them that you saw it on What's Neat. I know, that was great.
Yeah, pretty darn cool.
I'm really excited about new products like that, and there's a lot of new products coming out, and we're going to talk about new products all this month. Seriously, there's a lot of neat new stuff coming out.
And just to tie everything together, there's a shortage in restaurants for employees and everything. There's shortages everywhere. Well, all these people are starting their own businesses. That's where the workforce is. They see all the sweat and tears they put into it, and they want to do it to here. And I'm just so excited with all these new companies. I mean, it's just amazing.
I'm absolutely in agreement with you. Now, I'm seriously entertaining thoughts of building this, continuing to work on this N-scale layout, this modular layout that we started, oh Lord, was it June or April of last year? I know, right?
Time flies.
I got to wrap it in oak, drop in the electronics, I got to decide what I'm going to do. I was going to build a lot of streets on it and trick it out with detailed buildings, but to make it streamlined, I might just actually do scenery and mountains and make it more of a operational layout on one side with industry and the other side just a beautiful scene to run N-scale locomotives through, which would also help me videotape N-scale stuff outside, which is something that's been lacking around here a lot.
Absolutely.
Also with the new locomotives that Bachmann has announced at the Anna Maria National, there's a lot of ON30 locomotives that are coming out. I would love to get involved back into that. ON30 is neat in that a 4x layout in that scale, and again it's O scale, right? But the track, the daintiness of these locomotives lend themselves well still to 18-inch radius curves, and you can have a complete layout.
Wow.
Drop in a couple of loops and a few sidings, and you've got an operational process, whereas you're building O-scale buildings that are easier to see and easier to build with absolutely amazing locomotives. And this time around, they're coming out with sound. That's new for Bachmann on the ON30 stuff. They just started doing that a couple of years ago. But for example, the consolidation locomotive, the 2-8 O locomotive that they're coming out with for the first time ever is going to have sound in it, and there's 3 variations of that locomotive that they've announced. So it's going to be really exciting, the diversity of what we can model now, whether it's N scale, O scale, or HO scale. The new products that were announced at the Anna Murray National here in St. Louis.
With the size of the O scale, I mean, you can get so much detail into it. I've seen people carving out, figures and stuff. I mean, it's just amazing the
Drop in
just
3D printing.
Yeah, the
Drop in
dynamic.
3D printing now. What's the sky? The sky, there is no limit anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there is really there are no limits.
I heard people say 10 years ago, this is the best time in the world to be in the hobby, and that's when we started seeing plastic brass coming out, whereas brass started to become antiquated with regards to detail, handrail fidelity, and everything else, with all the plastic innovation that came from computer-designed locomotives that we've watched happen over the last 15 to 20 years in our hobby. Great time to be in the hobby. Well, guess what? Today's a great time to be in the hobby.
Now we have Bluetooth with Bluenami that we can dead rail cars.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Soundtracks, for
Yes.
that exciting announcement at the Anna Murray National, and that's absolutely amazing. I want
It
to take
is.
my tablet and run a train.
Oh, I've divided my locomotives up to what I'm going to put a Bluenami in and what
Right.
I'm probably going to sell.
Right? But that doesn't defy the fact that the NCE system is the best system out there, in my opinion. It's going strong now. Technology doesn't need to change when you perfected it from the very beginning.
Very true.
And that's what they've
That's
done
right.
with the Pro Cab and the Power Cab. Jim Scorse has done an amazing job in that you can use the thumb wheel, the press buttons, and or other ways with a great LED display to be able to read and see what it is you're doing with regards to programming. It's simple, and like I say all the time, it simply works. And I looked at some of their advertisements this past week in the magazines. There's a lot of other items at ncedcc.com to complement your system. There's the panels, there's the wires that are necessary to daisy chain the panels around your layout. There's the radio systems. There's so many upgrades that when you start with the basic system, you can always upgrade it and you never outgrow it. And when you drop in the fact that you can do Wi-Fi with it, with regards to the computer.
Yep, the USB interface. So
Right.
you can talk with, it links up with JMRI.
JMRI, that's the
which
word
is-
I was looking for.
It's amazing. They have block detector systems that they sell that you can hook up that shows the difference in displacement of energy from your blocks.
I know, right?
To show the engines are there. You can link this up to JMRI and you can control 20 or 30 trains all by itself, timed with the JMRI
I
and
love
the
it.
NCE.
That's amazing.
When I put
It
this in the
is.
hands of new people that come down here, it just fits. Plus, I love the fact that that system that we got, the UWT 100 from TCS,
Oh yeah, that
works
links up
with this
that.
system.
I'll tell you, this
Yes.
smaller one is great for people who have never ran anything
love that
because it's
smaller
just on and off. You can
Keeps
hit
it
the
simple.
forward and reverse. Because people like Mike Buddy that doesn't operate a lot of this stuff.
We
and
bought
kinda-
Mike one of these.
I know, and he still has it in the box.
We need to go over there. I love you, Mike, but
Yeah.
dude, you got to make this work. You're going to love it. So with that, guys, this is the best hobby in the world
sure
with some of
is.
the best people in it sitting just around me tonight here on the show. This is show number 201 or 207. It was an easy one to do with a lot of new products, a lot of new information. Next week, we've got special guests coming to town. Woody is coming to town.
Yes.
He's a gentleman that made our What's Neat metal sign that's on the
this
front of the
here.
table and
Oh,
this
yeah.
beautiful display.
Excellent.
I know, right? It's going to be a lot of fun next week. And the third week of the month, we got the folks from Microengineering, and we've got part of October already laid out for guests that are actually traveling 7, 8, or 9 hours to drive here to be on the show. So with that, guys, best hobby in the world.
Absolutely.
Rock and roll.
Let's go run some trains.
Thumbnail.
Perfect. You know, we didn't have a thumbnail for last week's show?
Really?
Yes, we forgot.
Oh, what'd you do?
I did that side camera, which was totally different, with us all smiling because Dave was a hoot. Dave was a hoot on that show, right?
Yeah, he was.
I had to edit out a few things, but he was so passionate about this hobby.
He is.
And he's so good at scratch building his track work and stuff, so
Okay.
I look forward to having Dave on again.
Quick thumbnail.
Okay, guys, 1, 2, 3, thumbnail, show some teeth. And that's number 207. And I hope to get this edited out and out by Monday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you as always.
35 minutes.
Nice to
You should
back
keep
and
that
sit.
beginning stuff in there. That was funny.
I love that. I think everybody enjoys the
I
fact
think
that
so, too. It shows that we're just
we're
everyday
organized.
Yes, it's just
It's organized chaos.
yes.
I know, right? Okay, we got nobody running camera, but keep camera one rolling
Yes, sir.
as we roll credits on this. I
I'm
know,
gonna-
right? Hear the music?
Yeah, I'm going to turn off camera 2.
Thank you, Joshua. I will call Holly and tell her she can come home. Bring Landon. Yay.
I'm going to head off into the sunset.
Don't forget to put your cell phones back on noise.
Yeah.
Now we'll start the laundry up again.
Yeah.
Wow, good job, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
Every show's good. Remember that December show we did?
Oh, God, that was so
Just
good.
you and me,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
perfect. It was so much fun. Good job, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me sit in. That's about it.
Always
always
pleasure.
enjoyed.
I love it when you guys are here.
It's always fun.
All right, I'm heading off. I got my first day of work again on Monday morning.
How about that?
Eddie.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought everybody's off on Monday.
No, not
No?
restaurant people.
Yeah, restaurant people work
Yeah.
all the time.
We don't get days off.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah. You gotta ask it though.
I don't
You
wanna
just
ask-
got- you
I
just-
don't want to ask the question.
Why? What's wrong? What? You didn't tape it? We didn't get it?
I'll just use camera sound.
I had really good sound too.
I'll just use camera sound.
What happened?
I don't know, but it's sitting here. It's not telling me to. It's 1, 2, 3, record. It didn't record. It's not telling me to stop. It's telling me to record. I didn't record sound.